Hi guys, I am back with a new video. I'm Diana and this is my channel Diana in Colour. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some zines that I have collected over the past year. The reason why I particularly want to dedicate this video to zines is I believe that every single one of us has a lot of power with where we choose to put our money. I think as individuals, our consumer dollars are some of the most important things we have, especially when it comes to supporting and empowering creative talent in your city, in your country and worldwide. Auckland in New Zealand has quite a big zine community, and if you don't know what a zine is, it is usually a self-published piece of work. It could be writing, it could be a collation of photographs, it could be illustrations, it could be anything, but it is entirely self-published basically. What I love about zines is that they showcase raw, hidden, obscure talent, and every year New Zealand has Auckland Zine Fest, or Auckland has Auckland Zine Fest, and it is a great opportunity to just see what other creatives are doing, support some local talent, and just get chatting to people that are into the same things as you. So this year it didn't quite happen. What Auckland Zine Fest has done is they've put all the zines that were going to be available online, which I will link here. Another thing I really like about zines is that I find that it gives voices to a lot of marginalized people. There are a few collectives that support queer writers, queer art, queer creatives, and also migrants. And yeah, it's just been really great to kind of see what they are making. So today I'm going to be talking through some of the zines that I have collected, some this year and some in previous years. I don't really have a big collection because I always give them away, but I'll show you what I have. So I have my pile of zines here, all kind of, I feel like they're in the same colour palette, which is not deliberate, but definitely something that I would do. So the first zine that I want to talk about is called I Am Brown, I Will Not Frown, and this is one that I actually got this year. So this zine is dedicated to this author's journey to decolonize their mind, and it's written by marcconaco. It's kind of like half writing, half comic strip, but it's very informative. This author takes us through kind of their journey into colonizing their mind from a Filipino context, which is a perspective that we don't really hear much about. I'll read what the first page says and I'll give you a bit of an overview about what this zine is about. So, to go on a journey of decolonization, one must first understand what colonization is. In Filipino, colonization translates to, I'm not going to read that because I'm going to ruin it. Actually, pagsakop. Pagsakop means to dominate and control. My country has had 425 years of violent colonization at the hands of Spain and America. Our colonization taught us that whiteness in all its forms was superior, to be desired and emulated. Everything not white was backwards, ugly, and inferior. Decolonizing the mind is a way to release us from that thinking. This was really informative for me. I learned so much about kind of colonization in the Philippines and kind of the effects of that, and there was still a lot of things that I could relate to here because I know that there are a lot of ideas that I have that have been born from colonization of my home country, Zambia as well. So it's really kind of interesting hearing other people's stories from different races and countries, and also kind of seeing how they still align with mine. The little comics in here as well are really amazing. I love how there's a little distinct style going on here. So the first chapter in this zine is all about the history of colonization in fast forward. So it gives you a little bit of an overview as to what was exactly taught in the Philippines, and it's looking like a lot of it was using Christianity to get rid of their old beliefs. And that's something that I kind of grapple with Christianity as well. I feel like it has been used as a vehicle to oppress people. It is kind of been used to civilize people and tell them that the way that they live is not the right way. And to this day I kind of still have an issue with Christianity for that reason. So it's interesting to kind of see that come through in here as well. So I will post a link to where you can find this. So the next zine that I'm going to talk to you about is actually one that I got a while back, and it's by somebody who I didn't know at the time. It's quite famous illustrator. He's called Deadfacecomics, and actually this was actually from Zine Fest last year, and a lot of his comics are about how he masks his mental health problems with humor, and he kind of uses art therapy, so these comics, as a way to make sense of his mental illness. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. And a theme that I really kind of see coming through with these zines is it kind of unpacks a lot of, you know, people's experiences, what they've been through, and kind of issues that we don't commonly talk about so openly. If you want to check out some more of his comics, I recommend going and checking out his Instagram. So the next zine that I want to talk about is called Chicken Soup for the Millennial Soul. So there are a few different versions of this particular zine. So this is Chicken Soup for the Millennial Soul on breakups. So there are a bunch of different ones. There's like Chicken Soup for the Millennial Soul on crushes, on and on existential ennui, on for the goth soul, on maintaining aesthetic, for the pet owner's soul, filling the void with your furry friend, and finally Chicken Soup for the insecure soul, on deflecting with humor. I mean, I bought this at a time where I was kind of going through a breakup, not going through a breakup. You know, nowadays people don't actually date each other, you just have like 16 boyfriends and girlfriends that you actually like don't even want to admit that you're in a relationship with. So I was going through like a mini breakup. And this was actually pretty cool. There was one piece in here that kind of stood out to me, and it's by Helen, whose Instagram handle is @ChineseGoth, and she gave 7 things on heartbreak, and a lot of it was kind of talking about her experience growing up as a Chinese woman, or as a Chinese girl, and how that kind of fed into her dating experiences. Another one that actually kind of stood up to me was this breakup comic, which was just cringe experiences and some breakup advice, and it kind of just really made me feel like how, first of all, how universal some of those weird things that we think that we're the only one that does these things do. Some of the messed up stuff that actually goes on, and like how we actually treat each other in breakups, it's not good. And actually one of the bits of the book that stood out to be the most was actually the little ad for one of their other ones, which is the Chicken Soup for the Millennial Soul on crushes, and it says, catching real feels but terrified of making a move because the prospect of putting yourself in a vulnerable position cripples you with anxiety, then this book is the book for you. Turn those DMs into real life conversations. Gain the confidence of a creepy old man hitting on a woman much too young for him. This book has all the answers. I will leave a link to all those contributors actually in the description bar box, so you can have a look for yourself and get you some chicken soup. And the next and actual final pieces that I'm going to talk to you about are by an author and self-publisher, I'd say, called David Merritt, and he's quite famous in New Zealand. He kind of gives me hermit old man that does his own thing but is super smart and well read, and slightly self-deprecating, and is kind of like mad at the world but at the same time like really optimistic about the world. But yeah, he was really cool, and he was selling his zines at a stall at the Auckland Zine Fest a couple of years ago, and I managed to pick up some of these things. And the thing about David Merritt is he has a really distinct way of packaging his poems. So he is quite famous for these poems that he makes using other books that he finds like from off shops, like thrift shops, and he kind of disassembles them and reassembles them and packages them into these really kind of cool books that aren't books. So this one kind of folds out like this to reveal the actual poem, and this poem is so beautiful. I read it at the store and I was like, okay, I need to like keep this for myself because it spoke to me. So I'll read this poem because it's a little bit short and it'll give you kind of like a good idea of his style, and then I'll also leave a link to all of his stuff so you can read it online and you can maybe buy some stuff as well, support some New Zealand talent. So this poem is called The Lover's Table. Every cafe, bar and restaurant has a lover's table built for two, by a window or an especially nice potted plant, or by the heater, or tucked away out of the way somewhere, whatever. I'm looking longingly at the lover's table, aware of the ghostly backgrounds, apparitions and auras of all the past lovers at this table, stretching back out over time, including me. I see the lovers laughing, touching and leaning, mirroring body posture and hand gestures. I see the lovers at the lovers' table incline their heads towards each other and inhale the sweet smell of sex and sweat and perfume and pheromones. The lovers see only each other at the lovers' table. They smile only for each other. Their eyes sparkle with the pleasure of the love of meeting together here at this moment, unbroken, and for these everlasting hours in love. Like, oh, love, what's that like? But also, oh, love, I want to feel it so bad. While I was there, I also picked up this book, and it's called Crisis and Duplication, and he actually explains how he makes all his stuff and how he puts his books and poems together, and you can kind of see this little hallmarks of his style in the book that kind of fold out, and it's really cool. He has a really beautiful sense of prose. It's quite like, I don't know, I really like the style. It reminds me of like one of my like mentors, like his attitude, and I like authors that don't really take themselves too seriously, and I feel like he's one of them. Even just the whole experience of reading his writing, the kind of interactive elements, the paper stock, the way it's put together, it's just really beautiful, and it just feels like something like you really want to cherish and keep. So that's it for my zine haul. If you liked it, please let me know and I will buy more zines because they're less expensive than books, and do more hauls for you. And if you guys have zine communities in your cities, in your countries, I'd love to know about them. So if you like this video, again, please like and subscribe. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.